Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In response to the question which was asked about using spirit vinegars or red and white wine vinegars, then in response to the question, first of all, it is important to know that it is impermissible for a Muslim to have alcohol in his possession which he then converts by one means or another to vinegar. This is due to the hadith which has been reported, such as the hadith of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, collected by Muslim. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when he was asked about alcohol being made into a vinegar, قال لا, he said no. Also Anas, he reports another hadith, أن أبا طلحة سأل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أيتام ورثوا خمرا. That Talha radiallahu anhu, he asked the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about some orphans who inherited alcohol. قال أهرقها, he ordered them to pour the alcohol. قال أفلا نجعلها خلا, Talha said, should we not make it into vinegar? قال لا, he said no. And this hadith is an authentic hadith collected by Abu Dawud, Ahmed and others, and was authenticated by Al-Albani. So these texts indicate the impermissibility of a Muslim taking alcohol into their possession and then converting this alcohol into vinegar. And the matter is, as Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has ordered us to avoid alcohol, as is found in His statement, Jalla wa ala, فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, avoid it so that you may be successful. And hence that Allah Azza wa Jal, He has ordered us to avoid it, then it should not be in the house. لا يكون في بيت مسلم خمر أصلا. No house of any Muslim should have any alcohol in it, essentially. However, if we were to come across khal, a vinegar which is spirit vinegar or wine vinegar, knowing that it's impermissible for a person to make it into the vinegar, who is a Muslim, that is, as being that if he's not a Muslim, then there's some khilaf among the ulama with regards to that. Then a number of the people of knowledge have mentioned that if a Muslim was to convert the alcohol by one means or another into a vinegar, then it would not be permissible to use it and that it would remain impure. This is a view of a large number of scholars. However, you do find others from the people of knowledge who have opposed this view, and narrations have been reported from some of the Sahaba indicating the permissibility of using the white wine vinegar or the spirit vinegar, even though it may have been made by a Muslim. From the text which indicate this is the narration which is collected by Ibn Abi Shayba in his Musannaf, and the chain of narration, inshaAllah, is Hasan, meaning that it is a sound chain of narration, when some of the companions of Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu, they differed, as the narrations is attributed to Jubair ibn Nufayr. قال اختلف رجلان من أصحاب معاذ في خل الخمر. The two men from the companions of Mu'adh ibn Jabal, they differed with regard to the spirit or wine vinegars. فسأل أبا الدرداء, and they asked the companion Abu Darda, فقال لا بأس به, and he said there's no harm with it. So this indicates that Abu Darda, he saw the permissibility, and a person may say maybe he intended the people of the book or those who hold the permissibility of keeping alcohol and using and consuming alcohol as opposed to the Muslims. The response to this would be that the hadith is general. These two men differed with regard to khal al-khamr, the spirit or wine vinegar, and the response was la bas, that is permissible. This is because once it's gone through that process and it's denatured, the effect of the khamr, the alcohol, is not there anymore. The intoxicating property in the alcohol is no longer there. And once the cause for the tahrim, yani illat tahrim, the reason why it was made haram, is due to the sukr, the intoxication, and this is commonly found by the ethanol which is there. However, if it no longer consists of that property which is intoxicating, then it's not considered to be a khamr. And for this reason, Ibn Hazm rahimahullah in the Muhalla, he mentions that فَإِذَا تَخَلَّتِ الْخَمْرُ أَوْ خُلِّلَتْ فَالْخَلُّ حَلَالٌ. if the alcohol is turned into a vinegar or it becomes vinegar, then it is halal. It is halal. Likewise, Imam Malik rahimahullah, the Imam of Dar al-Hijrah, and Mudawwana al-Kubra, when he was asked about a person who turns the alcohol into a vinegar, he mentions قد أساء, this person has done wrong, ويأكله, and he can eat it. So this is a view that was attributed to Malik rather. So benefit from it that this is a correct view, inshallah, that the process, even though the process is muharram, the process that was taken to make that white wine vinegar or red wine vinegar or the spirit vinegar, the process that was taken in storing the alcohol and allowing it to become denatured and then into a vinegar, that process is not permissible for a person to do. However, if it's done and it's no longer considered an alcohol, then that would be permissible for a person to consume. And the process that they've taken, like I said, is sinful and is wrong because it's opposed to other hadith. So this is one aspect. And as for the vinegar, then it would become permissible because it has become a vinegar. So this is the correct view, inshallah, based on what the people of knowledge have mentioned, and it is the correct interpretation of the matter. And some of the people of knowledge, like Shaykh Uthaymin, in his book Sharh al-Mumti', he clarifies that if the denaturing was done by a person who held that alcohol was permissible for them, like a Jew or a Christian, for example, a person from the people of the book, and the process of denaturing the alcohol occurred at their hands, then it would be permissible to use, which is another view in the matter. And in a nutshell, we can say that if the process of denaturing was done by a Muslim, then he would be sinful, and if the alcohol became denatured and turned into a khala vinegar, it would be permissible to consume that vinegar. And also if this was done by someone who held it to be permissible, like a Christian, for example, it would also be permissible. And that makes what is available today, whether it's in the ketchup or in some of the sauces or otherwise, it's permissible for a person to consume it so long as it has become denatured and there is no trace of the actual elements of alcohol and it's not something which intoxicates. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to benefit us by what was mentioned. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.